Right, D-Day. Finally, we are gonna head from Reunion down to Durban. There's been a bit of a respite in some of the fronts coming through. We're gonna get hit in the next day or two, but still, I think it's time to leave. You can't wait forever. It looks like we got a good window for the next 7 days to get across that current and so on. So some of the boats have gone already. It's starting to empty out behind me here. You can see them. I think 4 have gone. I think there's another 4 of us. We're going to go in the next hour or two and just slowly go. It'll be nice. There'll be a bit of motoring, and then there's going to be a bit of pounding somewhere. So hopefully we'll get some nice camera action. We're all full. We went to the supermarket yesterday and spent another fortune. So we have lots of food, and everyone's in good spirits. I'll catch you later. We'll try and get some good camera action. Cheers. Perfect. Finally underway. Glorious evening. Not too much signs of big low pressures and big seas, but no doubt it'll come and find us. Morning, Monday morning here, 21st of November. Just had our first night, lovely pleasant evening sail on the way to Durban. We've got about 4 or 5 oysters around us, which is absolutely brilliant, and we're hunting in packs. So wind has got up to about 21 knots. It's due to stay around that for the day. The sea has got a bit lumpy, but that's what we expected. There is a little front coming in tonight, which we expected. We'll probably hit in about 10 hours, so we'll have to keep an eye on that one. But other than that, all is good. Everyone's into their watch systems. There is 4 of us within 2-hour watches. Seems to be working quite well. And yeah, the sun is out and it's glorious. So, chat to you later.
When you're at the other side. Alright, I got you. Thanks, I want it.
So they've gone through it already. They must be them. with 5 knots of wind. A bit of a sunset. All to do about nothing. What a glorious evening. Motor sailing. A couple more of the oysters are around. Nice little rainbow. Some squall. Came in fast. Never really got a massive amount of wind. 25 knots, maybe 20 knots if that. Manageable. Explain to me, what do we have?
What? Pico de gallos,
Yeah.
and then I slow cook entrecote this morning for
Oh.
4 hours,
Oh wow. Okay.
and I made some aubergine and pepper fry for the vegetarians.
Sounds lovely just after.
And now we're heating up the tortillas,
Brilliant. Excellent.
corn ones.
Excellent. Morning, folks. It's day 3 on our way to Durban from Reunion Island, and we are about 200 miles from Madagascar southern tip, and about another 900 miles on to Durban. Yesterday was interesting. We had our first front, which was torrential rain followed by a bit of wind. We had thought the winds were going to be obviously quite strong, the 30 plus. They ended up being about 20. But still, the clouds looked really mean, and you really didn't know what you were expecting. So we really had to batten down the hatches and wait and see. A lot of the other oysters were all on the VHFs wondering who was going through first, as everyone's anticipation was a little unsure, put it that way. Anyway, everyone got through all fine, and we ended up with no wind for a night sail. A couple of stars, a couple of shooting stars, which is nice. Lightning in the background, far away, luckily. But a pleasant evening motoring, no wind unfortunately. And today it looks like we're not going to have much wind. I think we're going to have about 10 or 12 knots if we're lucky. We're beating, but the wind will swing around again, and hopefully strengthen tomorrow and get us going again around the southern tip of Madagascar, where I presume we'll have a bit of an acceleration zone somewhere. We're supposed to be under a bit of a current here, but it hasn't really materialised, unfortunately. We had hoped it would. We set ourselves up for it, but didn't really get much out of it. But other than that, it's a glorious sunny day. Everyone's still asleep. I'm on my watch from 6 to 8, so I'm really finishing now. And some others will get up and make breakfast in bits and pieces. So, have a good day. Talk to you later.
Some of the coffee shops are nice. But
Yeah.
It's like it's not very nice to be in there.
No. So we have one beanie hat underway and one leg warmer, is it, James? Sweater. This is what you do in a boat when there's no wind and we're just motor sailing on a Wednesday on our way to Durban.
Tuesday.
Oh, Molly. Is it Tuesday? I thought it was Wednesday. You forget the days very quickly. Oh, you should know with your sextant practice. Uh-huh. Okay.
Noon
Yeah.
at the angle of 81
Angle of 81, yeah.
degrees
Degrees, yeah.
and 15 minutes.
15,
Decimal
yeah.
9.
Decimal 9. Okay. All right.
Yeah?
So where's that going to put us?
Let's see where we are. If we are going to Durban or not.
Let's hope so.
Is it that?
GPS was
And we're back.
29 degrees 15 south,
So,
or 1 degree 36 east.
so the south is exactly the same.
Okay.
Are you getting this?
Yeah. Are you getting this?
Get a lollipop.
You get a lollipop.
Some fruit.
Well, that's good. So your
And then let's see
your hat is getting smaller.
yeah.
That's great.
That is great after sailing across Madagascar.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
It's 41.
That smells good, James. So,
33. Wow.
Good evening, Mary. How have you been today and what have you been up to?
All good, thanks. We've had another nice lazy day. We're motoring right now, enjoying the peace and quiet while we can. Our position is 29 degrees, 13 south, 40 degrees, 54 east. Our speed over the ground is 6 knots. Our course over the ground is 296. We've very little wind, just 4 knots from the north. Over.
hi guys. Wednesday morning, Route 2, on our way to Durban from Reunion Island. Wednesday, so we're in take 3. We have Juno, another oyster, right beside us. We've been sort of hunting with her most of the time. We've had about another 4 or 5 oysters, sort of crossing paths, and a little bit to the left and a little bit to the right and so on. But sea state is nice and mucky today. We always knew this one was going to be a bit mucky. Got about between 23 and 27, 29 knots, but it is behind us, which is good. I'm testing a bit of a mic here, so hopefully you can hear me, because it is quite windy, but I wanted to see whether it would work or not. But yeah, I mean, it's dry. We didn't have any squalls. We might have one later. The sky is looking a bit sort of dodgy on one side, but we are heading for the bright side. Madagascar is just to our right, to starboard, another 150 miles away. And we're in a bit of a current, which is nice. And forecast is reasonable. I think we're going to have this sort of wind all the way in. We should get there by Sunday or Monday, hopefully. And we just have to be careful with that current, the Agulhas current, to make sure we don't get any southerly winds with wind against tide. That's not what we want. So we're going to have to measure that one as we get a bit closer. We might have to slow down a bit or speed up, depending. Somehow I reckon we're going to have to probably slow up. Other than that, all good. Eating well, and everyone's in good form. Some guys are knitting Christmas presents already, and some are just reading books, and some are just messing with cameras. So, chat to you later. Hi guys, it is Thursday, on the way to Durban from Reunion on Route 2 as part of the Oyster World Rally, and we have lovely conditions now. Wind has dropped a little bit. Well, it's probably a little bit too light, but hey ho, we'll take it after a fairly rough night of about, I think we saw about 39 knots with some fairly juicy waves. But anyway, the boat handled well, and even though it was a bit of a rock and roll night, it was good fun, and nothing broken, which is good. We did hear some reports of a broken mainsail and some water coming in through the stern, but all that's fixed and everyone seems to be okay. And they're catching up probably on some rest. So, lovely sunny day. We've about 750 miles to go to Durban. We still have that current to get across, and we've another front coming through, which we have to monitor. So we're still a couple of days out. But today we'll take it as a good one and get us ready for the next onslaught of weather conditions, I suppose. This passage is going to give us a bit of everything, I suppose. But anyway, everyone's good. Food is great. And everyone's just chilling at the moment. So we'll get back to you later, maybe with some more footage. Cheers. I'm going to stick the camera up, and you still should be able to hear me. You have a wireless mic on. Hopefully the sail won't take the camera out. We'll get her up over the bow and see if we can get some nice shots. These 360 cameras take a bit of getting used to. Some of the images look a bit gimmicky. But, and of course it takes twice as long to edit. But you do get some lovely angles, so it's probably a bit of practice about playing around with the angles and trying to get the best shot. You've got to put into one software suite and then put into another one to add them all up together. Anyway, it's all a bit of fun. Let's see if I can get out further here. Okay, I won't lose my camera. Really sloppy old sea. Anyway, calm down, it was a lot worse, so we'll take it. Anyway, give you an idea of what the sea state's like today. Morning guys, day 6 on the way from Reunion Island to Durban. Sea state is a little bit calmer, which is nice. We're starting to sort of fetching a bit because we're trying to get up north a bit. We went a little bit too far south last night. We had thought we might make a run for Cape Town, but our weather router Chris Tibbs has said no. In 5 days time there's a couple of nasty little fronts there, which would make it very uncomfortable, so we're going to head back to Durban. So the fleet motored last night and headed up, so they're about 20 miles to the north of us, so we're going to have to start tracking, but we're going to lose the wind later this afternoon and the evening, so we're going to be motor sailing, so that's when we can put her in and point her back up. But anyway, we can't get into Durban till Monday at the earliest, because there's a couple of little fronts and the wind against tide in Agulhas current, which we can't cross, so we're under no rush or anything like that. Everyone's in good form. Par is learning his sextant. James has been really good helping him. He's got a couple of good sightings and getting some good plots and getting closer and closer. The patience of a saint, that's what you need for a sextant. But he's doing well. And everyone's sort of relaxed, catching up on a bit of sleep because the boat has been bouncy for the last couple of days. And it'll probably be bouncy in another few days. So when the weather's good, we'll try and catch up on a bit of sleep. So we're ready for the next onslaught. So other than that, we had a whale 2 days ago. I forgot to mention that. Lovely humpback. We had a Lanner falcon land on the cross trees this morning. I know they're African. I didn't know they were migratory. They must be. He looked a bit knackered. I tried to get him down, but he wouldn't come down, so he flew off. So I hope he gets somewhere. But I'd say, unfortunately, the wind got caught up in the wind somewhere and it's got blown off course. So I don't think the outlook for him is going to be too good. And then a couple of dolphins this morning. I didn't manage to catch them on the camera, but hopefully we will again next time. But yeah, other than that, we'll catch you again later. Morning guys, day 7. Just want to give you a bit of a weather update. There's not much wind here at the moment. We've had a fairly flat night motor sailing. We've about 400 miles to go to Durban. But unfortunately the weather systems keep changing, and we thought we might make a run for Cape Town. Now that's not going to work because we've another southerly system coming in. And you have to be very careful with the southerlies down here against the Agulhas current. So that's not going to happen. So we're back down to Durban, but we might look at another port called East London, which is between Port Elizabeth and Durban. It would take out about 200 nautical miles out of our trip from Durban to Cape Town. The problem is if we get into Durban on Monday, which is all good, there's another system coming in and we could get stuck there for a few days. And the issue is some of us have got flights out on the 15th back home for Christmas and stuff, and that's going to leave it quite tight. So there's a lot to think about. We've got a net meeting on SSB at 2 o'clock. Some of the other boats are all starting to think about other ports of refuge and to get in and so on. It's a tricky one, this, because with this current you've got to be so careful. It's strong and it can kick up some fairly nasty seas quite quickly, so you do have to get your timing right. The current's about 100 to 150 nautical miles wide, so you're in it for quite a while, and there's strong points and weak points and so on. So it does take a little bit of coordination and also just thinking about when you want to hit it, and you need a window, and not just a couple of hours window, but you need a good window to get across it. So anyway, so other than that, everyone's good. It's a glorious day here. It's 7 a.m. in the morning. Wind might get up to about 10 knots, not much. So I'd say we're going to be motor sailing for most of the day. I'll update you later after the weather and see where we get to, and hopefully we'll get some sort of routing just to go forward. This is decision time as to what boat we're going for, and just batten it down and get on with it. So yeah, all good other than that. Right, now to show you our little sandmark. Decided to take over our shoe bag. See if I don't want to disturb him, but he is up there somewhere. Where is he, Mary? Where is he? Oh, hello. Oh, you poor thing. You look wrecked. Hello. You have a good snooze. We did leave out some food, but I think he's just too tired. So, back on the catering front, we have a puff pastry, fruit, roulade maybe, is that what we call it? A roulade maybe?
Maybe.
Sorry, the SSB is in the background, it's our daily net call. As we approach Durban, everyone's getting anxious as to when we go across the big current. But meanwhile, in the galley, it's all about our pastry. Hey guys, it's Sunday here today. Nearly there. Should be in tomorrow, hopefully around 12 o'clock into Durban. Yesterday we've been motor sailing, day before motor sailing, and now we've got this bit of a front, southeasterly front. Isn't ideal really for going across the Agulhas current, which is coming up northerly at about a 2-knot current, but it should start to reduce as we get closer to land, which will be tomorrow night and early tomorrow morning. So with a bit of luck, we should be fine. But all good. Lots of discussions on route planning yesterday, and boats going this way and boats going that way. There's a big southerly gale coming in, which won't come down as far as Durban, but it'll certainly hit up in Port Elizabeth and Cape Town. But two boats that are further ahead have decided to make a run for it, and they want to get in before that, and they want to get into Port Elizabeth. They don't want to get stuck in Durban, so they've gone for it. We're too far behind, so that option wasn't open to us. So we and most of the other fleet are heading to Durban. It's probably the safest. But those guys going ahead, they're about 50 miles ahead, so hopefully they should be okay. They're going to get the current, they're going to jump on the highway, and when that big bloody gale comes, they're going to jump off the other side and hopefully get into Port Elizabeth or East London if they don't make it. But they should be okay. We've had lots of route planners. Some boats have their own route planners. So there was lots of discussions on the SSB yesterday of what best to do, and you can't mess around with the gales here. There's always gales. They're going to produce 39, 45 knots. You really don't, if you want to avoid it, you're better off avoid it. I mean, these boats are great. They'll certainly take it, no problem. But you just don't want to start breaking stuff. That's the issue. But we're running along here. It's mucky, unfortunately, but it's this, with all these sort of currents knocking around here, the sea is generally quite mucky, and it's just the sea state. It's just the way it is. There's nothing you can do about it, and there's any wind that knocks it up fairly quickly. But anyway, the boat's good. We've got a reef in the main, and we've got the staysail out, and she's very comfortable doing 8 knots. Some of the guys are cooking down below, and I'm up here just on watch. There's nothing around. There's no ships around. They're all heading sort of over that way to Cape Town. So we haven't seen a ship in a day or two. So it's all reasonably quiet. But hopefully we might get some footage later, and we'll see how we go. Chat to you later. might get a bit meatier later. Morning guys, last day on the way to Durban. I think it's about 60 nautical miles left, so we should be there in a few hours, probably in the afternoon. It's around 6 a.m. in the morning here. We're actually in the Agulhas famous current, all expecting to be hand steering, strapped on, washboards closed, you name it, and it all seems to be very calm. So either we hit it at the right time, or I'm not too sure really. The wind has dropped. It was about 27 last night. It dropped to around 20, about 14, 15 now. So we've shaken the reefs out. We're going for it now. We're doing about 8 or 9 knots, which is great. And we're in the middle of the current, so we have another hour probably of crossing this. But all looks very calm, very, very easy actually. Anyway, better to be safe than sorry. Can't wait to get in because it has been a fairly old roughy passage, this one. I think we had a couple of days of motor sailing in the calm, but the sea states have been sloppy most of the time, to be honest with you. Well, I suppose that's why it's so close to the Southern Ocean, and that's why it is the Cape of Good Hope, and I suppose that's what you expect, a lot of convergence of currents and so on down here, so it is expected. But anyway, everyone's in good form. I'm up on my usual watch. We seem to have gained an hour, getting closer to South Africa. Everyone else is asleep. Thought they all wanted to come up and have a look at the current, but they might appear shortly. Anyway, sure, we'll chat to you again later. Cheers. Well, this probably sums up our passage. As we approach Durban, we have a squall. A lot of rain. Now you can see how they fall off.
And now he changed down. Should have had all the gear on.
We should have had all the gear on. Well, finally made it. We're here in Durban, having some beers. Well done, guys.
Well done, everyone.
Now to relax for a couple of days.
Well done, James.
Chin chin. Well done, James. Well, guys, we're sort of settled in now on the marina in Durban. I'll swing it around so you can see behind me a bit all the boats. Ruth is tied up here nicely, and we've given her a bit of a bubble wash, get all that salt off. It's amazing where the salt gets everywhere. But you can see her there. Fishermen are coming in and so on. There she is there, all nicely wrapped. So now let's get ready for the next one, off to Cape Town. Another couple of systems coming in, of course, so we're going to have to try and find another window. In the meantime, we might try and get a safari in, or do some other little events and bits and pieces. It's nice here. Guys in the marina and the yacht clubs are all being very friendly. They've got the football on the footy. They've opened especially for us, so I think some people are going to go in and watch that later on. And I think there's some other boats still due to arrive. Other than that, I think people will probably have a good night tonight and so on. Asleep. I think everyone's fairly wrecked. It's been a bit of a hard passage for most people, bumpy and stuff like that. Anyway, I'll talk to you soon. Cheers.